Money worries plague many of us, so forget about them for practice and join me, Taylor, to tune into abundance in a yin yoga sequence. I recommend having 2 blocks close by to tap into the chakra most associated with financial freedom. We'll begin today sitting back on our heels in Thunderbolt pose. We'll be here for a bit to tune in, so if it feels better to have a block underneath your tailbone, sit bones, please do sit on 1 or 2, whatever feels comfortable for your knees, for your ankles. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And I invite you to close down your eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze towards the top of your mat. Guide your tailbone to point down towards your ground, like you're trying to lengthen your low back. Top of head, the crown reaches up towards the sky, moving up and away in the opposite direction of the tailbone. Gently invite your ribs to hug in and shoulders to fall down and away from your ears as you soften through your upper back. Invite the breath to fill your belly. Inhale, low belly expands out like a balloon. And exhale, it gently releases, deflates. Take a few breaths like this. With your hand on your belly, see if you can notice it moving with each inhale and exhale. And what it feels like to breathe into this area of your body. Does it feel a bit scary, or is it more relaxing? Now invite your breath up into your chest. As you inhale, smile your collarbones, open your heart space. Exhale, chest deflates. See if you can feel your chest moving underneath the palm of your hand on your chest. And notice what it feels like to breathe into this area of your body. Maybe you associate it with anxiety or tension, or perhaps it's really freeing to breathe into this area. There's no right or wrong. Now invite the breath to breathe into both areas, belly, chest, even your ribs. Exhales like a gentle hug of your torso for your internal organs. 2 more. Do you feel more free to breathe this way? Maybe you feel like you have more space, or not at all. That's okay too. Choose which breath most resonates with you and feels most comfortable, has the most security for you in your body. As we move into our first posture, toe squat. You can remove the prop out from underneath you, bring your hands to the mat in front of you, curl your toes under. Maybe you need to reach back and get all the toes under. Some of mine don't like to reach. And your hands here can stay on the mat, your heels or your sit bones towards your heels. If this is even really intense, you can bring your sit bones slightly off. Or if you'd like to invite intensity, you can begin to walk your hands towards your knees, moving slowly, checking in with yourself. If you would like even more intensity, hands come up onto the thighs and then walk up towards your hip bones until eventually shoulders come to stack over hips. Know that if you get here, yin poses do get more intense with time. You can always walk your hands back down your thighs onto the ground. You get to choose your intensity. This is your practice. Our feet are our foundation, and we quite often don't pay much attention to them. But our foundation is responsible for our security, for feeling safe. And a lot of the time that also has to do with money. So if you don't feel safe as you are, perhaps practicing more of these grounding postures can help you tune into where you do and then begin to associate this feeling with finances. And let me tell you, this is a work in progress. It takes time. I'm not promising you'll feel financially free by the end of class, but we are beginning this journey. Take notice of your breath, where it lands in your body. Has it moved to an area that doesn't feel as free as open? If so, can you guide it back to belly, chest, or that full breath, whichever one feels the most comforting? 5 more deep breaths. Walk your hands down to the mat if they're not already, and then forward sit bones come off heels. Untuck your feet. Ankle circles may feel good, or tapping the top of your feet into the mat may feel good. Then come to stillness. Step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, coming into dragon. We'll lunge forward into the right knee. And if you would like padding for your left knee, you may always fold your mat over and rest your knee onto the mat. Otherwise, allow your left hip flexor to begin to melt towards the ground. And here's where I like to use blocks underneath my hands. This can help soften the pressure for the wrist joints. And I find it's also really nice to help the chest open, and it keeps the spine long, which is very important. Once you found your spot, I invite you to soften into your elbows. Maybe you take a few rolls of the shoulders to help the shoulders move down and away from the ears. Then really focus on letting your left hip flexor be heavy. Your right foot can come as wide out to the right as you'd like. And if it feels better to roll to the outside of your right edge of the foot, you can do that as well. Notice where your mind goes when you come to stillness. Is it worries about money, or is it hopeful for the future? Of course, it could always be something else altogether as well. But as we're focusing on abundance today, I invite you to ponder on the fact that abundance is a state of mind, not a number in your bank account. How you feel about what you do have reflects more on your abundance than what you want or what you believe you need. If you'd like to come down onto your elbows on the props or on the ground, please do so, or stay up on your hands. Both options are great. Soften into your upper back. 5 more breaths. On your next exhale, hands come back to the mat or props if they're not already. Straight into your right leg as you flex, right foot, send your hips back. Little counter stretch, half splits. Rebend into the right knee, then step it back, tabletop. Shift your props or your hands over towards the right hand side. So you can step your left foot forward this time. Same option to fold over the mat if you need to pad the knee. Make sure your hands are quite wide here. This can be more stabilizing as you allow your right hip flexor now to melt towards the ground. Notice right away what you like your left hip to do or what it's asking you to do. Sometimes it feels better to have the foot planted. Sometimes the hip wants more space and you roll to the left edge of left foot. Start with your hands on the mat or props, your chest up, spine long. We tend to want to dive into the deepest variation of the pose right away because we know we can do it. How does it feel when you ease yourself into it? Slowly move towards your edge. And the same can be said for abundance and finances as well. Slowly easing yourself into organizing your finances. Slowly finding where you feel abundant, not necessarily deciding right away this is what abundance is and what it feels like, but finding the edge of your comfort zone. Notice if you lock your joints, see if you can invite a softness into your elbows, into your shoulders, even across your forehead, into your jaw. And check in, see if you still have that more calming breath in use. As we stress the body in a healthy way in yin. Sometimes we move into a breath that we more associate with tension, with unease. Option to come down into your elbows. And I invite you to notice this breath as well when you feel abundant versus when you're in a scarcity mindset. And this is how you take yoga off of your mat into your day-to-day. Notice if you get really tight in your hands here, if you interlace your fingers. Can you see if you can soften your hands, your wrists? 5 more full breaths. And turn to your hands. Send your hips back, lengthen into left leg as you pull left toes towards your body, counter stretch. Rebend into your left knee, send your left foot back. And then tuck your toes, walk your hands towards your knees as you strain into your legs into a forward fold. Walk your feet wide to the edges of your mat, toes point out, heels in as we prep for Malasana. Allow your sit bones to melt towards the ground and get it out any wiggles here so you can really find a space that's comfortable for you here in Yogi Squat. Right away, use your blocks if you would like. You are supposed to be supported here. Sitting on a block helps your joints out. It is not a sign of weakness. And if you don't need blocks, that's great too. Hands come to heart center. Press your elbows into your inner thighs to help your legs open. Tailbone pulls towards the ground, crown of head up and away, opposite directions. Soften or close your eyes. And notice if you round your shoulders forward, can you find space across your chest? This pose opens up all of our chakras, right from our root, our base, our center of safety and security, all the way up to the ideas, imagination, our connection with a higher power, our highest self, whatever you'd like to call it. And this open channel can help us find more space for freedom, for security, for being in a place of ease and abundance. Breathe into your area of comfort. Continue to lift your chest, shoulder blades gently hug together as palms press together as well. Five more breaths. Hands to the mat in front of you. Lift your hips up towards the sky. Feet come in to about hip width distance apart. Bend deeply into your knees as you come to lower sit bones to the mat. If you need to bring your hands behind you, that's okay. As we move into Shavasana, I encourage you to use your blocks, whatever props you have underneath your knees. And then slowly lower yourself all the way down, back to the ground, legs wide, arms wide. The blocks underneath your knees can help your low back, your hips be at ease. Though sacral chakra, definitely very close to the root and can help us find more space and relaxation as we begin to bring more security and abundance into our lives. Let the back side of your body be heavy. You are completely supported by the mat beneath you. The front side of your body light, expands. It feels at ease. Abundance is a state of mind. You get to choose how you feel about your current situation, your current finances, your current place in life. It is up to you to choose how you feel, how you react, and how you want to be. And you have the power to do just so. Invite movement into your fingers and your toes, your ankles and your wrists. As you deepen your breath, take a big inhale, fingertips reach back, toes point forward. Exhale to soften. Draw your knees in towards your chest and then roll over towards your right hand side into fetal position. Take your time as you push yourself up into a comfortable seat. We'll meet with our hands in prayer at our heart centers. Bow your head so your third eye meets your fingertips. And thank yourself for showing up on the mat today, for doing this act of self-love for your mind, body, and your soul. Lift your head back up. May you feel kind words. May you speak kind words. May you think kind words. Together, we bow forward and say thank you. Let me know if you feel a little lighter, freer, or something altogether in the comments below. I love to connect with you. Until next time, have an absolutely wonderful day. Bye for now.